Well, let's start. Welcome, everybody. I hope you all enjoyed the summer. This is the first webinar after a long vacation, and I'm really happy to see so many people have signed up for today. Both people familiar we have seen before, and also new faces. So, a warm welcome to all of you. Before we start, there are some practical stuff. First of all, I would really much like to make sure that you can both see us and hear what we are saying. So please write in the chat, so I know that the sound is going through. That would be really nice. Great, I get some thumbs up there. It looks like people can hear. Maybe you can say something as well, Christian.
I'm quite confident that it is working.
That's nice to know. Then we will have some polls during this webinar as well. We will be really happy if you will take your time to answer these. You cannot miss them because they will pop up on the screen. And then last but not least, we have, it's of course, if you have any questions, then don't hesitate to ask in the chat. We will, I'll make sure Christian gets them along the way. We will also have a Q&A session at the end of this webinar. With that being said, really warm welcome to all of you. My name is Sasha, and I'm the marketing manager here at the Cloud People. And most of you might already know us, but for those of you who don't, we are a pure play ServiceNow leader partner covering Northern Europe and Americas. And I'm really fortunate to have a lot of talented colleagues who help our customers build some really cool ServiceNow solutions. And one of them are you, Christian. Maybe you could put some few words on yourself.
For sure. Thank you very much. Yeah, my name is Christian Sengupta from Germany. I'm a trusted advisor with the Cloud People and have the honor today to talk a little bit about the AI-ready CMDB and why it is so important to have it in place for you and your success with the best platform of the world, which is ServiceNow.
Thank you very much. And I actually think I will hand over the word to you because we are going to talk about, or you are going to talk about the AI-ready CMDB today.
All right. Thank you very much. Yeah, let's get it started. We prepared a little agenda for you, or for all of us, basically. We do a little reality check. What can we expect from an AI? How does it look like today? Why does an AI need the CMDB? How can we measure the maturity of our CMDB? We also want to have a look who takes care of the CMDB and the whole data governance and data quality. And last but not least, we do have prepared a real-life example where I can tell you a little bit about a situation that we found with one client, which is just an example. There are a lot out there that face similar issues. First of all, just to ensure that we are all on the same page, what is AI and what is the difference between AI and a human being? Sometimes human beings take decisions based on feelings or guesses or whatever. AI doesn't. AI typically creates the decisions based on data, patterns, and on this structure of things. So this is very important to know, and it gives already a hint why a structured CMDB is so important for your success with AI on a platform like ServiceNow. What are the cases that we are facing or that we are basically heading against when we are using AI on the ServiceNow platform? So the first one is very obvious. We want to do workflow automation. ServiceNow, our platform for workflows, should take into consideration that AI can do a lot of stuff on its own without having any human being involved anymore. So this is for the incident management. For example, if you want to assign a group or if you want to have a summary of a ticket, AI is your place to go, basically. this is already there and much more to come. It goes all into the direction of event correlation. That means that we get really AI-driven root cause analysis and predictions based on the data we have in our CMDB, but not limited to the CMDB, and all around in ServiceNow, so that we really can concentrate the power of our people on solving issues and issues that we did not see before, maybe, right? So let AI do the boring stuff and let your people doing the stuff that they really want to do.
Before we move on, maybe we should hear if where our audience are currently using AI capabilities in ServiceNow. It looks like that most people are not using anyone yet, but are exploring. And someone has no plans at the moment.
Okay.
And then we have...
Fair enough. If we do the reality check, it is what we see out there, right? And why? Everybody wants to use AI, but a lot of companies, a lot of organizations are facing the issue of having a CMDB which is not that reliable as we or as AI wants to have it to really bring the output that we want to have. We very often see incomplete and outdated CI data. That means that either data is not even there, or the data is really old and information are missing or are also too old to take decisions on it. This always or almost always comes with manual maintenance or not defined ownership for CI classes. This is something that is really seen very often out there. And the old story nobody can hear anymore, but we have to tell it again, right? Data silos, not only data silos, but also silos in the organization. We are still working on really breaking these silos, but we see them really a lot out there. This comes with disconnected tools because each silo has its own tool. And that leads to a lack of integration from all we do in the ITOM area, so doing the discovery and so on, and the integration with the place where we use the data, basically, right? It is most likely the ITSM, at least for most of the customers that we are currently seeing here, because there we use the data we have in our CMDB typically.
Yes, so maybe we should hear what our audience are experience as the biggest challenge with their CMDB. So a new poll is coming up.
Okay, while you are all voting, let me directly jump to the next one here, right? How to start? Yeah, you need to know where you are before you can make some plans, right? You can only steer what you know, is the sentence that I put here on this slide. And it is the speech for a status assessment. Yes, all consultancy companies come with a status assessment and want to know the as-is analysis, blah, 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 blah. Yes, I know, but it is really necessary before we can take some actions. And I promise we make it simple, right? We don't want to spend hours, we need to spend, but days and weeks to do such an assessment. We want to see the defined scope and the responsibilities. Do you have it? Is it in place? What is your data quality all about? Do you have outdated data? Do you have all the data that you need for the business cases that you want to be reflected by AI or your ServiceNow environment at all? And last but not least, for sure, we have a look at the integration. We can do a lot of things manually. We all know that. And sometimes, even today, it might be necessary, but typically we should be able to have integrations up and running to collect all the CMDB data. This leads to a small maturity model that we invented. And And as I promised before, nothing complicated, right? It's 5 levels from 0, which we called chaos, up to AI-ready. This is level 4. And the level 0 is really something that we typically don't see out there anymore. So no central CMDB, no ownership is very uncommon for companies that do have any kind of ITSM platform or tool in place. But what we see is that these platforms or tools are only equipped with a level 1 CMDB, which is typically maintained manually, or sometimes even supported by Excel sheets. And most of the times, only the basic types are there. What are basic types? A lot of customers do have their clients in there. Servers, sometimes it's already very complicated. Network, we don't want to talk about that in this stage. This is all covered in the next one, right? Once we get the connected data sources, it becomes better and better with the data quality and also with the attached or integrated systems here. ServiceNow, as we all know and love it, has a lot of capabilities here. Example given, the discovery, they do the scanning on their own, or we just connect, for example, to SCCM via service graph connectors. So there are a lot of ways to go. The next level then is the service-oriented CMDB. So the introduction of relationships between the CIs and the combination to and with the service business services, so that we get our service maps in place, this nice overview where we can do the root cause analysis, very graphical and visual supported. And we need this together with a clear ownership, right? So we will hear later on a little bit more about that. A good CMDB always comes with ownership and a governance. We put this to level 4, not because you should invent it or introduce it in level 4, but there you already reached the goal, right? You should start implementing the governance when you start your journey on the CMDB path, because you need it to be AI ready in the end, with a working governance and a quality control and a standardization, so that you are ready for AI with your CMDB. Before jumping into all these points, I think, Sasha, you have another poll, don't you?
I do. And I can also see that there is a question. It is Matthew who asked a question here. An issue we are experiencing is that AI is sexy and everyone wants to be involved in it. Data quality is not sexy and it's really difficult to get leadership to engage in it. Their eyes glaze over as soon as you mention CMDB. How best to overcome this?
Nice question. I like it. So my passion is all about business values, right? And that is the answer to your question, basically. As you said, CMDB is totally unsexy, and it does not bring any value out of its own, right? But it is the key enabler for business cases that your management is looking for. And this is the right way. Don't tell them that you need to have a CMDB in the first stage, but make their eyes lightening up by telling them what they can achieve, having an AI in place that can automatically open and close incidents based on alerts and so on that are created based on the CMDB. And once they buy in on your business case, then you can tell them, okay, if you want to reach this goal, it's like in sports. You have to train, you have to prepare yourself, right? So that means you have to bring CMDB in place and in shape. You have to bring workflows in place. You have to change your organization maybe. All this is necessary to reach this goal. And this is how I would always talk to your management. They don't care about the technical stuff. Tell them what they get out. Tell them what they get for their money, how they save money with investing money into CMDB, for example. And then they will listen to you and communicate openly. And don't tell them, okay, yeah, it's just pushing 2 buttons and then we are done. No, sometimes it takes some time to implement a CMDB. a job for months and not for a few days until it really is in place, right? So hopefully this answers your question a little bit. If not, let me know and we can have an offline discussion about that.
Great, thank you so much, Christian. Yeah, before we move on, it would also be great to know, based on our CMDB or your CMDB maturity model, where you would place your organization today, which level?
Okay, let's dig a little bit into the levels, and at the end, Sasha will tell us where you see yourself, right? So it is nice to have a maturity model, but we don't want to stick in the level where we are, right? So what do we need to do to become from chaos to initial? Yeah, we need to define our initial CI classes. So what do we need to fulfill the upcoming business use cases that we want to fulfill? So best case, we have these already clear, right? But I can say to you that the really initial classes typically are the same, and we can help you out there. So you don't need to have all your AI use cases ready, but they are helping all of us to initiate such projects. We will see later on as well. And then I always recommend to already assign the CMDB ownership and responsibilities. So that means who's responsible to bring all the servers into the CMDB? How does it work? What information is needed? What can be done automatically, and so on and so on. Someone needs to have the ownership on that, on taking care of this. And therefore, it is absolutely necessary to have this ownership being done. And then we are hopefully very soon at level 1, but we don't want to stick there, right? Because level 1 is also very boring. We don't want to do things manually. We want to have it automated. And therefore, yeah, we need to talk to our owners, to our CI class owners, where to get the data and how to get it and how often do we need to get it, and so on and so on. This is something that we really should do as soon as possible, if not already done. And it always relies on your business cases again. Sasha was asking me yesterday in our dry run, how often do we need to take such data? It depends on your use case, and it depends on the environment you have, right? If we are talking about a cloud environment where you rent a server for minutes, it doesn't help you to do a scan once a day. I hope we all agree. While having an on-prem server farm, maybe the scan once a day or twice a day might be enough. So there is not the right or wrong answer. We need to know what we want to achieve, and then we can adjust our technical implementation to that. And we also need to implement the CI live class processes. Again, boring stuff because part of the governance, but we need to check on a regular basis what CI classes do we need in our CMDB, how to retire them, and then for each CI class as well, how to create, update, and delete or retire CIs in our CMDB so that we have a reliable data foundation for our not only AI, but for all the processes that rely on the CMDB. The next stage then is to come from automated to service-oriented. This is something typically, if ServiceNow shows the CMDB stuff, they show these service trees and everybody wants to have it. Everybody needs it tomorrow, but nobody wants to do the work to come there, right? So we need to go through level 0 and 1 to be able to link all the CIs that we gathered in level 1, hopefully automatically, and build these nice service trees out of this. And then we can introduce the service mapping. That means that we have full maps where we see all the relations between our technical CIs and then linked to our business services so that we can see what happens if, for example, we take out a switch because we need to do an update or whatever. What does it influence? And this helps us doing it manually, but for sure, the same thing with AI. Without this data, it is not able to take such decisions autonomous. From there, it directly goes to the AI-ready state. So we want to become AI-ready. And yeah, as I said before, we need to have this data governance in place. This should already be defined, but latest in this stage, we need also to really implement it and also introduce the measures that ServiceNow delivers out of the box to have all the KPIs in place so that we are able to maintain our status AI ready, because this is really something that you don't want to achieve once, but you need to maintain so that you can really stick to it and can deliver all the values out of an AI ready CMDB, like event management, AI ops, and all these things that everybody is dreaming of, but only a few are really achieving it already, because yeah, you need to be patient and you need to be consistent here, right? And this is also, from my point of view, one, if not the key to success. It is consistency. Not only data consistency, but also consistency in maintaining your processes, reviewing them, train your people, tell them the advantages of maintaining the data or keeping all the lights on, that it is done automatically. So we need to check the integrations. We need to really ensure that all the information that we have in the CMDB helps us to reach the goals that we set for this AI-ready CMDB path.
But Christian, I actually have a question. So what now you have gone through all these levels, what do you see as some of the most challenging steps for the customers you're working with this topic?
Yeah, I think we had it already in the question before, right? CMDB is boring. Nobody likes it, right? It is to find the right people and motivate them, right? You need to have a team, a CMDB dream team, as I called it here, that closely works together with your Center of Excellence and Innovation. We talked about this in our former webinar a little bit more, so if you're interested, just let us know. But the platform owner and the lead architect, they need strong CI class owners that really maintain the data and ensure that the data is reliable, up to date, and yeah, all the information that needs to be added manually, sometimes it's necessary, especially in the service tree building. There are some steps that might be more manual than automated. Yeah, we need to have these people on board. And also, the question before showed it already, right? Management does not really understand how much effort it could be and should be to maintain the data. It's like, well, it's just maintaining a little bit of data in a tool. It should not be that complicated. You can do this while you are doing your real job, being an admin for a network or whatever, for example. But this is one of the biggest pitfalls that I see, that organizations do not take into consideration what it means to maintain the data, and especially they don't take into consideration what it means to not maintain the data, because then they have what we call a not reliable CMDB, right?
Thank you for answering that. Maybe we should hear how our audience are managing the CMDB in their organization. Yeah,
while this poll is running, there's not that one answer, how many people do we need, right? It always depends on your organization, how big it is, how many CIs and CI classes you have in there. So we have smaller organization where you have like 2 or 3 people being around the CMDB topic. but we have also bigger organization, or a real big organization, where we are talking about 10 and 20 and more people worldwide that are taking this responsibility with them, right? So it always depends on where you and your organization is at the moment and where you want to go. And for sure, it is also about size here. It's a different if you have 5 business services you want to map, or if you have 50 or 100 or even more, right?
I can see here the result that most of our audience actually have a small but mighty crew. So that's really great. But there are also some people who are a lone hero keeping the CMDB alive, and some who do not have anyone in charge. So what are your recommendations if you are a one-man army taking care of this, or do not have an army at all?
Laying down on the ground and wait for help. Okay, just kidding. Convince your management. Get them with the ChatGPT story of the world, right? You want to have AI, you need to have the data below, blah, 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 blah. We can help you with that, but it is really convincing your management that CMDB is one key to success for AI, at least in the ITSM era and all the stuff that is connected to it. If you want to do automation, you need data. It is the old story. Now we have the sticker of AI put on that, and it makes it even more crazy that we need it. But this is what I would really recommend you to do. So convince them by getting goals reached that the business is chasing for. And this leads us a little bit to the customer case that I want to talk a little bit about today. So this customer that we met had ITSM in place, a very, very unstructured CMDB, and no CI ownership. How did we find this out? We opened Incident and tried to find the laptop of the person that did the demo with us, and it was not there, but it was the old one. Okay, something went wrong with the inventory scanner here. And this is just one example that we found there. And all this was related to the organization not recognizing the importance of a CMDB. So what we did is we adjusted the scope of the CMDB of that organization by, first of all, talking to the management and getting the business requirements. So what do you want to achieve with ITSM, with AI in the future? And then we knew what we need to do. And the first steps, again, very unsexy and very boring, was reshaping the data model, reviewing the configuration of the data sources. So discovery was in place and some service graph connectors, but we need to have a look at this and reshape it and figure out what is the information that we really need, where to get it, where to put it, how often do we need that? And for sure, who is responsible for it? Who is responsible for gathering the client data, the server data, the printer data, and then implementing the data quality measures? That means what is the time of the scanning cycles? How often do we want to gather the information? What information do we want to get, and can we get it? How often do we need to do manual work? We set up regular meetings with the CI class owners to really review all that. That means that we are running reports based on the CMDB health results in ServiceNow, and then walk through it step by step by step. You can bet that our colleagues were not loved at all times by these customers, because they are very, very picky, and they say, okay, you got a mandatory field, in 80% it's not filled. So there are two ways. Either the information is not available, or you don't need it, or whatever. We need to solve it somehow, right? So this is the work that needs to be done, especially at the beginning, to get a data quality where you can rely on and, if necessary, reshape your data model so that all the information that is needed for processes and decision making are in place. At the end of the day, our CMDB stewardship, as we call it, brought the results that we or the customer wanted to have, right? So the CMDB data was much more accurate as it was before. It was beginning, or it is growing to be reliable, let's put it this way. And we were able to show the first successes by really delivering the business values that we defined in the first step. And then you get your managers on board, right? You ask them what they want to get, you tell them how much money they need to invest to get it, and then you deliver it. Then they are happy. Then you see happy managers, and happy managers might have more money for other use cases. So this is always what we are chasing for, right? And by that, we for sure got also a better usage of resources, not only the human resources, but also the resources, the technical resources involved in this. So a nice case, I think a lot of organizations would do good by asking for CMDB stewardship. I know we don't want to do too much advertising here, Sasha, but I think that our colleagues will help you. And if you now think, okay, then we have a person or 2 or 3 full days all the week with us. No, it is on a regular basis that our colleagues come there, do the reviews with you. So it is not that time consuming from our end, so not that expensive for you, to be openly speaking. So we will figure out a good way to improve your data quality. If you have issues there, get in touch with us and we can see how to do that.
Thank you so much, Christian. Then I think it's time to see if someone would like to get some support from a great guy like you. So if you would you mind being contacted by us to explore if we can support your ServiceNow AI journey? There's no strings attached. Then please submit your vote here. And while you're submitting your vote here, then we actually have some questions. We have one from Dinesh, who writes, what are the challenges that an organization with 800 plus cloud subscriptions across AWS, Azure, and GCP will face when they lack standardized resource tagging, production development test environments, and how does this impact their CMDB effectiveness and AI-driven IT operation management? The word is yours.
Okay, this is a very detailed question. Let me see if I can answer that. I think if you have so much subscription in the cloud, and 800 plus is even not that much for huge organizations, but if you don't manage them properly, then you will spend money on resources that you might even not use, right? So the challenge that you have here is to really figure out, are the machines used in the right way and in the right quantity, so that it is okay to let them run, or do you want to shut them down and maybe put 2 services together on one machine? So it is a very specific question, and we should deep dive, or could deep dive into that in an offline discussion. Hopefully this answer was somehow helping at all.
Thank you, Christian. We have another question here from Gianluca. What are, in your opinion, the challenges to unify a data model in a big organization and to make sure employees stick to it?
The biggest challenge is that everybody buys in that it is necessary to follow this data model. I think this is really the biggest challenge. If you have your private kingdoms that are protected by whomever, you need to break them up and bring them to the one model, for example, ServiceNow offers, right? And if you start working in CMDB with ServiceNow, you should always have the CSDM, so the Common Service Data Model, in your mind and under your pillow at night, so that you really follow this data model. Because if you follow it, you have an easy life with ServiceNow. If you don't follow it, then you will end up in a mess. And I think this is something that all you people need to understand, or at least the people that are part of the CMDB family, let's put it this way. And yeah, last but not least, trusting it is good, but controlling makes sense, right? So that's why we have this KPI measures in place, so that we can really check on a regular basis, is everything okay? Is everybody following the data model? Yeah, I think this is really what I would put there in the first step.
Thank you very much.
Okay. As you know our webinars, you know that at the end we come across with some action points. And there's one lady next to me who really wants us to get some action points at the end of such a webinar. So I tried my best to put them together.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I would always start with, you can only steer what you know. So check your current CMDB maturity level. Have a look where you are, and then define your CMDB team. So get together the people that really take care about data quality and bring them, behind the goals that you want to reach. So all of them need to understand the AI business cases where they are working for, where they are collecting the CMDB data for, so that they really make a difference and really bring value to your business. And then enable them. It is really all about the CI class owners, that they know that they are responsible, so they know how to gather the data. That is just a little bit of technical implementation, but you really need to bring them into the position that they feel themselves responsible for their CI classes. And last but not least, Sasha wants to have 5 points. Start. The earlier you start, the earlier you get your results. Sounds a little bit funny, but it really is. If you wait for the moment where everything is perfect, you will never start. Get your shit started by having a look at the AI business cases you want to reach, and then figure out where's the low-hanging fruits, where can I start with, and then you reach your goal much sooner than never before. Because what we were talking about today is just one brick on your AI journey, right? So today we just had a look at this small piece of what CMDB can do for your AI journey. My colleague Sandra will have another webinar, I think in 2 weeks or something from now, talking about our Smart Forward AI path, where we help you bringing value with your AI on the ServiceNow platform. Very cool stuff. Looking forward to the webinar, and you should mark your agenda there for that. Next point would be question and answers. We already had some questions. Sasha, are there any more?
No, there are actually some comments. We have one from Paul, and that's actually related to this one, I would say, because he said I would also say that with a good CMDB day, I guess it was related to how to convince the management that the CMDB is important. They can get cost and capacity management, and that they are usually interested in. And Tapio also writes here, it's also important to plan your CMDB roadmap in a way that the governance and management model will scale and apt when changes occur.
Absolutely. It's just a thumbs up for both. Nothing to add there, to be honest.
And then you highlighted some webinars, and I will highlight them here again. We have a lot of interesting events coming up. And for all of you who are located in Norway, and are able to go to Oslo on August 28, I would highly recommend you to join our event there, where we will also discuss AI in practice. Then, as you mentioned before, Christian, we have the webinar that is with Sandra and Marius from ServiceNow, who will talk about smart forward AI, but also talk about how to get started and explore some of the new capabilities in ServiceNow in relation to Raptor DB and AI Control Tower. And then we actually, for those of you who want to know about ServiceNow Impact, that is not related to AI here, but this is related to this feature ServiceNow offers in your license model, then please join us on September 24th. And then last but not least, on October 28th, we will have our customer Netox, who will actually take you through their experience, their first mile, their AI journey, how they have started their decision-making process, their roadmap, challenges, key learnings, and stuff like that. So please don't hesitate to sign up on our website. And then I have the last poll for you. It is, would you like to receive an invite for these webinars or events?
And while you are answering this, I would like to answer the question that we got, because I really like it. How important is it to have a good foundation data like location, business unit, department, etc. in the AI journey? I really love this question because I discussed it with my colleagues, specialists for CMDB, and they say, this is foundation data. I don't want to talk about it. I'm a CMDB guy. That's why I like the CSDM much more, because it takes it into consideration, right? It is absolutely crucial to have all your foundation data in place. If you don't have a user data, you can not link it to any hardware or any service, so you can't do any decisions based on that. So foundation data, master data, if we don't want to put it directly into the CMDB, and I understand that from a ITIL book perspective, it might not be correct, but if we take it on the CSDM level, it is as important as the data about your whole guys. So yes, it is absolutely crucial to have this in place and to have it in the same and even in a better quality than your CI data, because it is used on much more places there. So thank you very much for these questions and giving me the opportunity to clarify on that. But by this, I'm done. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much, Sasha, for being the host today. And yeah, looking forward to the next one. Hopefully all of you will join us there as well.
Yeah, I really hope. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And thank you so much to you, Christian, for sharing your expertise in this you said it yourself, boring topic, but really important. It has been a really pleasure to have this today. I hope I will see a lot of you in our next webinar coming up, and please don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have any questions, or to Christian. We are more than happy to help you in any ways. I wish you all a really nice day.